Hi BookTube, here I am again in my pajamas with another super casual Saturday Reads update video to let you guys know about my life and what I've been up to for the past week and what I have been reading this weekend. Um, I've been feeling sort of stuck in a rut for a couple of months now. It's been quite a big chunk of time that I've been feeling this way. In terms of my reading, I have been reading many books at once. I've been reading Freud's works. I've been reading books about Freud's works, people who write and discuss Freud's writings. Then I've been reading a lot of studies or discussions about Freud's technique and Freud's patients, such as this one, Freud and the Rat Man, and this other one, Rat Man by Stuart Schneiderman. And so the thing with this kind of reading, this reading habits that I've been having, or this reading life that I've been having lately, is that it's very it's very frustrating for me because I am a very active person. I love feeling that sense of accomplishment that comes when you finish reading a book. And I know this is something very shallow and sort of childlike, but I really like having that gratification of having finished a book. It's like internalizing it and feeling like you achieved something. And the thing that happens when you are reading multiple books at once every day very slowly for months is that you don't have that, and you don't have that gratification. So it becomes very tedious, and it's like walking through the desert, you know? And of course, that's only for my academic reading. For my literary life, if you will, as a reader for pleasure, I've been reading some books that are taking a long time to read. Stranger Things Happen, which is a collection of short stories, and the thing that I like to do with a collection of short stories is I like to spread the stories out in time. So I will read maybe a story a week. So for example, I read one story today and I really enjoyed it. But the thing with this collection, the thing that has happened to me while reading this collection is really, really strange. It's a strange phenomenon because I really like reading the stories, especially reading them out loud, and I really enjoy them. I love the experience of reading them, but once I am done with them and I look back on them, or I try to think back on the first stories from the collection that I read maybe a month ago, I don't really remember them very well. And this is not a criticism, it's not a negative thing necessarily, but it is a strange thing that has happened to me with this particular collection. That probably has a lot to do with the nature of the stories themselves. They are sort of fabulous, magical, realism, really bizarre stories, and there's something about them, about the way that Kelly Link writes. There's something in there that is very difficult to put into words, so I cannot describe what it is, but I feel like these stories have something. It's like a haziness, a hazy factor that makes the stories blurry once you are not reading them. So that's an interesting phenomenon that's happened to me with this collection. So it's taking a long time to read that collection, and I will probably finish it in like a month. And the other book that I've been reading very, 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 very slowly is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, in this gorgeous Everyman's Library edition. And reading this book has been probably one of those like landmarks of or like yeah, one of those like really important moments of my reading life. I feel like I will look back on the experience, on this experience of reading Lolita in the future, because it's been tricky, it's been dense, it's been difficult. I am absolutely loving the book. Like, I am really, really, really loving it. Every single time that I pick it up and read it, it's like orgasmically beautiful. It's wonderful. It's challenging. It's difficult. It's beautiful. It's complex. It's shocking. It's groundbreaking. It's literature, with a capital L, but it is not easy to get through. It's not. It might be one of the hardest books I've ever read. But the good news is, I think I am finally getting like the hang of it. Something that I really liked that Steve Donahue mentioned the other day in one of his videos, I think it was in the your readership tag that he answered. He was talking about reading being like a muscle, and I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree that reading is nothing but a set of skills, and just like with any other type of skill that we can have, it's something that we have to develop. And I think reading can be as complex as you allow it to be. Reading, and I say this because I have studied like the cognitive process of reading, all the cognitive processes that have to develop optimally so that reading can happen. Reading is a very difficult skill. It's a very complex activity that involves many different parts of the brain. It requires many complex functions. And so Steve was talking about how sometimes as a reader you are challenged, and that can be viewed as a negative challenge or a positive challenge. You can look at it as something that is frustrating and something that you are not willing to conquer or work on, and you just are not willing to fight that battle, and that's perfectly fine. Or you can look at it as a challenge, as a learning opportunity. And I think that's what Lolita is representing right now and will represent later on when I look back into my this particular stage of my reading life or my journey as a reader. I feel like Lolita is exactly that. It's been a challenge. It's not so difficult that I would be just frustrated, because then I would have probably bailed on it and quit reading it. It's just complex and difficult enough, but it's also gratifying and beautiful and immersive enough so that I am enjoying it so much. And it's right there. It's that exact point of complexity and yet familiarity, so that you are constantly being challenged, but you're always enjoying it as well. So it's a wonderful book, and I cannot wait to actually finish it so that I can talk about it. So, Stranger Things Happen and Lolita, those are the two books that I will be reading this weekend, and I will continue reading them this week and, for however long until I actually finish them. Now, something positive that I haven't mentioned is that I did actually finish a book last week, and that was the novel Kiss of the Spider-Woman by Manuel Puig. I have already posted 2 reviews, one of them in Spanish and one of them in English. And I made those reviews around the topic of homosexuality from the point of view of psychoanalysis. So if you're interested, those videos are up there for you to enjoy. And that's my life right now. As I've said, I've been feeling sort of disenchanted with reading just just because of that lack of accomplishment. And again, I cannot stress enough how much I am loving Lolita. I am absolutely loving it. It might be one of the best books I've ever read, but I am still finding myself stuck in a rut and feeling somewhat disenchanted with my reading life, because I haven't had that that joy of finishing books quickly. And I know this is something silly and something very childlike and whatever, but it happens. It's a real thing. Um, Another thing that has made me less joyful for the past couple of months is my singing, my voice. This is not something that I've been talking about here in my channel because, you know, it's not related to books or reading or booktube, but it is something that I've been feeling sort of very sad about, and it's since September of last year, so it's going to be almost 7 months now. I've been struggling a lot with my voice. I haven't been able to sing. Like, I've been able to sing some days a little, but I haven't really been able to sing, like properly sing, since September. So it's been 7 months of feeling very sad for having lost my voice. I've been dealing with a lot of allergies and acid reflux and a lot of things. I've been going to the doctor pretty much every week, and it's hell. It's been really, really tiresome, especially if you are a person who sings. I wouldn't say that I'm a singer because I don't do it professionally, but I am a singing person. I love singing. Singing is one of the things where I find joy, just as with reading. Reading and singing, those are my two things, and it's horrible losing your voice and feeling so impotent and so frustrated. But the good news is that this month, March, has been better. I've slowly started to heal, and I'm starting to feel like my voice might be coming back a little bit. I find that it's been very good for my voice to sing melodies that are very smooth, very velvety, that have this kind of like wave of sound, like people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. You know, things that move like in circles. It helps me connect the breath better. But I still feel it. I still feel a lot of irritation and pain and you know, things that make me see that my voice is still in trouble, but it's getting a little bit better. So I don't know why I'm telling you this. It's not related to books or reading at all, but well, there you go. I am glad to say that I was actually able to read like 50 pages of Lolita today. So I'm starting to get more immersed in it. So I might read it faster now, and I only have like 100 pages left. So who knows, maybe this week will be the week in which I finish Lolita and make my review. Oh, I cannot wait for that. So thanks for watching. That was my weird update video, and I'm just one reader.